Hey there, it's Shane Profitt, and this is The High Note. So How It Oughta Be, now it's in the top 20. I can't even begin to tell you how much that means to me because I come from a little bitty small town in Middle Tennessee, just south of here. Everybody back home is tickled pink about it. It's a blast, man. Getting to travel around and say that I get to do music for a living, it's a feeling that not a lot of people get to really feel, and I'm super, super blessed. You can tell at every show that I do now, it's more and more people in the crowd know it for sure. The first time I ever heard people singing it back to me, to be honest with you, I cried like a little baby. It's a feeling that I get to feel, about every other night, and it's a feeling that'll no doubt ever get tiring for me. You could go down the road here at Broadway and everybody that's playing a show on Broadway right now, because 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever time of day, everybody on Broadway is doing what they're doing for a slight chance of getting to do what I do, and it's something I won't ever take for granted. There's lots of processes you can use for writing a good song. This particular day that we wrote How It Oughta Be, I had actually just quit my job. I was working for the city just 13 months ago. I was making $11 an hour, which is not a lot, but it was enough to get by. And I just freshly quit my job. I didn't even have a record deal at the time. I had a publishing deal. And I remember this morning, I had to fill my truck up with gas, and it was over $100. And I remember how frightening it is, filling your truck up, and it takes over $100. That's quite terrifying, whether you're employed or not. And I wasn't at the time. And I remember just thinking, like, man, 87 octane ought to be 99 cents, And this particular morning, there was a mass shooting that morning, I remember. Even if you don't know somebody that's involved with something like that, you still have that emptiness in your heart. And I remember we were writing on Zoom this day, and I opened up my laptop, and you could kind of hear in the background the news going. One of the co-writers said, "Man, it's a shame a backyard isn't a safe place for all these kids to play anymore." And I said, boom, that's an opening line. And we literally wrote the song in about 2 hours. And it's just kind of for the average, hardworking, pissed off American, but at the same time, it also says, the world ought to try a piece of mama's chicken and feel the love around the tabletop in the kitchen. You can tell I've had my fair share of mama's chicken. I feel like if everybody in today's world had a little bit more of that family life, and we're just better human beings in general, this world wouldn't be so crazy that we're living in. I actually met Chris Jansen at a sushi restaurant on a first date with a girl. And I ended up going up to him, introducing myself, telling him what a fan I was and that it would mean the world to me if he would listen to some of the songs I'd been writing at the time. He said, yeah, and I ended up actually getting his wife's email and sending them some songs that night. And 2 weeks after that night, he offered me a publishing deal and asked me to come open for him on his whole tour. Last year, I drove him and Kelly both to CRS, and I waited in the car because I was just doing odds and end jobs, helping out the Jansens. And so this is my first year getting to be on the inside, and it's a lot of fun getting to see all these faces that I saw on radio tour, and a lot of new faces too, and just getting to kind of catch up with everybody. It's a lot of fun. I'll be honest, I played in bars and little honky tonks and stuff for people, and I was just background music. And to now have a top 20, it makes it all worth it. Take every single chance that you can. Just don't be afraid of rejection, because this is a big old world, and there's a lot of dreams, and if you're not chasing them, somebody else is. And those are my high notes. Thank you to CMA for having me. Make sure that you go like and subscribe for a whole lot more. I gotta say, we're stopping at Mama's house, and we're having some fried chicken, because that's how it ought to be.
Oh, man, you brought them all together, bro. Yeah.